Okay, good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Complete Sports Media's podcast. I'm your host, Darren Campbell, and we've got a special guest joining us on a Monday evening, break down the UFC and talk about a few other things. We've got Stephane Cappellini. It's been a while, man. Really great to have you.
Yeah,
Have you back? How you been?
I've been pretty good. Getting through this pandemic, and we're all intact. Most of us are still here.
Good to hear. Have you been doing a lot of jiu-jitsu? Have you been going to the gym quite regularly?
Well, yeah, I'm getting in about 2 to 3 times a week, which isn't a lot, but given the situation right now, I'm not working close to my academy. So if I can get in 3, I'm elated. Three times a week, I'm elated, but sometimes it's just 2. Family gets in the way. But hopefully I'll be switching. Actually, we know I'll be switching to work a little bit closer, so that's going to help. So I'd like to go 3-4 times a week, and that'll make me really happy, and I'll just advance quicker.
Yeah, that would be great. Yeah, I'm sure it always makes you feel well. All the guys I know that train heavily, they seem to be in a lot better moods when they're there more often. So yeah, I hope it happens. Seems like COVID's, we're finally getting out of all the worst parts of the shutdown and all the things. Over a little over 2 years into it, it's time. Be nice.
Mm-hmm.
Be nice when we just can put it in the rear view mirror and, not have to deal with masking and all the other stuff. It's been a pain. It's been such a pain.
Yeah, I go into the grocery store now, or going to grab a coffee, and I go, oh, yeah, you don't have to wear a mask. I'm not wearing a mask. And then it feels so weird. It feels a little strange now. And then I see somebody else not wearing a mask, and that person's being naughty. And then I think, wait, I'm not wearing a mask either.
Yeah, I know, it's kind of wild. Yeah, it's hard to get used to for sure. But okay, well, tonight I would love to break down this UFC fight night in Columbus. But the talk of yesterday and today has been this slap that Will Smith put on Chris Rock. Everybody's been talking about it all over the radio, all over TV. Everywhere I stopped today, somebody had some opinions on this. Tell me what your thoughts were of this slap heard around the world.
Well, I was thinking at first, this is just a gimmick. This is just get people wound up, and it was just a game they were playing. And you know what? I watched a video of it just breaking down, like Will smacking him and then turning, and they both look like they have an expression of kind of chuckling.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, especially Will Smith. But then he sits down and he just starts screaming at him. So I don't know what to think right now. If it was real, I think it's assault. And apparently Chris Rock didn't even know about the hair issues that Jada Pinkett is having, the alopecia. I think that's what it's called.
Alopecia.
Oh yeah, I'm talking about some mountains, I think, somewhere around the East Coast there. She doesn't have that, as far as I know. Thank God.
Thank God.
But what is it called again?
Creating a new disease that nobody knew existed.
Tourism and those disease. Yeah, 2 years into tourism being low, and now this is going to kill even more tourism in the Appalachian. Not going there, man. You lose your hair.
You become bald. Yeah.
Alopecia. That's how you say it. Yeah. So apparently he didn't even know that's why she's trimming it down, and it's. So if it was a legitimate slap, that's assault.
Yeah, fully. Yeah, I agree.
And I don't think. Well, Will Smith's quite a bit bigger than Chris Rock too, and he did the movie Ali.
Yeah.
And Will, if you read, I'm not sure if it's just an audio book. I told you about it a couple months ago. The book Will, and I really enjoyed it.
Nice.
It just doesn't. That seems so out of character for him.
Yeah.
To do something like that. I don't know if you've listened to the book, but he got sucker punched in school once by a guy, and he talks about that in his book. So just again, it seems like out of character. So I don't think Will is a fight expert, but he did the movie Ali.
Yeah, exactly.
And
yeah.
if you listen to
he really bulked up for that role too, and he did a lot of his boxing himself.
And he really trained.
Yeah, he really trained. Yeah,
he had serious trainers. Serious trainers. He had to train really hard. And so I don't know, if it was real. It's not really fair. Like I thought, why didn't Chris Rock just jump him? I think he got. If it was real, he was just completely shocked. But apparently they made up.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. Yeah, I didn't hear that part of it, but I'm glad they have. My thoughts were just like, wow, take a joke. He was joking around. I don't know why so often comedians are just taking fun at people, doing a little roasting, and they're just taking so much abuse for it. And I just thought it was just a simple joke that I'm really amazed by the reaction. But we might all be fooled, and they might just say, it was a gimmick, it was a joke, we thought we would do something. But after he screamed the second time and used the F word and everything, you started thinking, this doesn't really seem like a joke anymore. So
no.
So we'll see. But it's weird when we're in the movie industry. Everybody's talking about best picture, best actor, best best this, best that, and all anybody's talking about is Chris Rock and Will Smith. It's kind of funny.
The right hook to the chin there. It was back to the old UFC days where they had no weight classes,
Right. Yeah. Those good old days. Those
50 pound.
Yeah.
50-pound weight difference.
Hoist Gracie was just submitting guys that were hundreds of pounds heavier than him. And,
Right. Yeah.
The early stages. Yeah. So it was kind of a lousy weekend. I do want to put out a word to my normal Monday guest, Jason Cameron, involved in a car accident on Friday, and he's on the shelf for a little while. Can't work, can't do this podcast, can't do anything. We're missing you, buddy. We really missed you today, and we're thinking about you. But Stephane has stepped in to pinch hit for you, and we're gonna have fun talking about this card that happened over the weekend. Yeah.
And Jason's watching as well. Get well, but I already sent him a get well text. Not getting any more from me. That's it.
So
enough of my kindness.
The weekend wasn't great for me. One of my favorite musicians in the world from my favorite current band passed away. Taylor Hawkins died at the age of 50 from the band Foo Fighters. Taylor has been a guy that I've respected and loved for his whole entire career. Was a drummer for a couple of really, really big Canadian artists over the years, Alanis Morissette and Sash Jordan. Had an opportunity to cross paths with him back then. And then when he joined the Foo Fighters in 1997 and has been with them for the past 25 years, last year nominated into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And the news that he passed away this weekend, it really hit me hard. And I know it hit a lot of people hard. Really amazing musician, lost way too early.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're you and I are also huge Zeppelin fans, and you actually see. I don't know if you watch it's about 10 years old now, but it's amazing. I put it up every once in a while. The tribute at the Kennedy Center for Zeppelin, and they did. Can't remember what song it was right now. Good Times, Bad Times, perhaps. But the Foo Fighters did that. So yeah, I was thinking about that. Actually, maybe I'll watch that them perform that tonight. And poor Dave Grohl.
Imagine,
you know,
imagine.
how many? So 30 years later,
Losing Kurt Cobain, you know, and Nirvana disbanded from that point forward. And
I mean, that was huge. I mean, and I think this is as well. I think that's it for
such a
Foo
blow to
Fighters.
the whole Foo Fighters family. And you know, I feel for Dave Grohl, one of the really, really good guys in music that you know, you always love hearing him talk and seeing, you know, them perform and stuff. And yeah, I really hope the band is not done, but we've seen when, you know, such a key member goes, sometimes they just don't want to perform anymore, and they decide that was it. And we're hoping that's not the case, but it'll be a really, really tough seat to fill for anybody, because Taylor was, you know, just such a legendary drummer and great guy. And like you say, Dave, a good guy, and I truly believe that him and his band were. And I don't know if you know this, they did this a few years ago. There were people at a gay pride parade protesting, yelling and screaming. And it was known that we're going to go, let's go protest this in some city in the U.S. And so all these people went there to protest the gay pride parade. Okay.
But what broke up that protest? The Foo Fighters went in there and started blasting away and singing, you know, and muffled them out.
Oh wow!
What they did. Yeah, I did.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I'll have to find that. I watched a bunch of stuff on the weekend. I listened to a lot of their music, and I was really emotional, and it really hit me hard. I've been a massive music lover my entire life, and a lot of these premature deaths, they really hit me, and this one really affected me a ton.
Yeah, everything to live for.
Yeah.
And doing something that so many of us want and aspire to be, you know, to be creative.
Yeah.
And to make a living off of being creative, sort of freedom, express yourself that way.
Yeah, it's you know, lots of us are very creative people, and it's very nice to, you know, aspire to your top creativity. And lots of these guys are, you know, some of the greatest in the world at what they do, and so many of them turn to drugs and alcohol as a way to escape, or as a way to have fun also with it. But it can turn deadly in one instance. And you know, we've seen it here, we've seen it across North America. The opioid crisis is just ravaging cities and inner cities and all over. And you know, and this is another victim. And yeah, it was sad, but I'm glad he was able to leave so much great music behind in his life, and things that we can constantly remember him for. And our thoughts and condolences definitely to the entire Foo Fighters family, and to Taylor's direct family and friends. It's going to be hard. It's going to take a while to get over this one for sure. Let's talk about kind of an exciting moment that happened over the weekend in Toronto at BMO Field. Canada's soccer team, the men's soccer team, was able to gain a berth in the World Cup for the first time in 36 years. They finished atop of their group, beating Jamaica 4-0. And the celebration was giving me goosebumps. I had tears welling up in my eyes. I was feeling so patriotic. Love seeing the Canadian flags and the patriotism, and everything there. Did you get a chance to revel in that a little bit yourself?
Yeah, yeah, I did a little bit, and pretty amazing. 36 years later, and I don't understand it. And here in Canada, soccer is the most played sport
Yeah, yeah, most popular
in
sport.
the country.
There's more, yeah,
And
more kids playing soccer than any other sport. Yeah.
yeah, and so why have we suffered so much?
Yeah.
I mean, incredible hockey team. It's like
Yeah.
speaking of hockey, my brother-in-law is sending me messages from Mexico during the Olympics. He goes, Canadians are getting beat in hockey. What's up with them? I go, I know one player on this team.
Yeah.
NHL players are, yeah, but they're still getting beaten. I go, Canada could send 3 teams that could potentially win the gold medal, okay, in hockey. So hockey, fantastic. We're getting better at basketball even,
Sure.
you know, but soccer, well, now soccer. So great. Yeah, phenomenal.
Well, I was a soccer player for many years of my life,
Mhm.
and there just reached a point where it just didn't seem like there was anywhere more to go. A Canadian was not able to play professionally when I was growing
Yeah,
up. There was just no opportunities there, but we're starting to see players getting opportunities in the leagues around the world.
yeah,
And, you know, there's guys that are coming in that, you know, suddenly are on the world stage. And this accomplishment will have really big ramifications as the years
yeah,
go by, because all the kids that were there or watching on TV will be like, wow, I want to do that. I can do that. Let's you know, go and play soccer today and, you know, get into it. So this is really big for the sport and for the
yeah,
country. It was nice to see everyone united, and the waving of the Canadian flags is something that I've been a little bit angry with in the last little while because of these convoys and all
yeah,
this stuff that's been going on down at the borders with truckers and all that. And
yeah.
you know, I said to some friends, who knew that at some point I would like to see a Ukrainian flag way more than a Canadian flag, you know? And I was like, this is
Yeah,
weird, but I suddenly felt that patriotism again and
I
was
hear you.
happy that people were waving the Canadian flag and wearing the red shirts like you are and all that. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
the
yeah,
convoys were really starting to make me not like to see the Canadian flag.
yeah, yeah. It went on a little long, didn't it?
Yeah,
You know,
yeah. It was
like
happening
Doug
again
Ford said,
today.
you made your point.
I was
You made
down
your
by the
point.
border and it was happening again today. So, you know, it's still not over.
Oh, really?
No, it's still not over.
Okay.
Kind of
Okay.
bizarre, you know. Yeah, you and I deal with truck drivers, and you know, they're kind of a different breed, and
Yeah.
you know, they have their beliefs. But I never thought I wouldn't be happy to see a Canada flag, and I started
Yes.
not being happy. But I think maybe this is done now, and I can be happy again to see
The
waving the
Canadian
flag and
flag.
being patriotic to this country.
Yeah. Yeah. Doesn't look like a Confederation flag again, you know.
No, no, that was ugly to see.
It was starting to look like that to me.
Yeah, it was, yeah, horrible. Yeah. So okay, well,
Yeah.
let's talk about the UFC.
Okay.
The UFC was in England, London, England, a week ago Saturday, and that was one of the greatest fight nights in the history of the sport. And just the level of excitement, the enthusiasm, the cheering was really off the charts. Dana White was able to give bonuses to every single fighter that got finishes. Nine fighters that get
okay.
finishes, they got 50K. So
Nice.
$450,000 in bonuses given out because he was so thrilled and excited with what they did there. They had another live event this past weekend, and this was in Columbus, Ohio, in the Nationwide
Yeah.
Arena. And I actually really thought the crowd was great at most times. They
Yeah.
booed a little bit too much for my liking at times, but
Yes. Yeah.
what do you think of this live American crowd that got to witness this fight night?
Well, first off, I agree with you. A little bit too much booing, and particularly for I think for one fighter that gave a hell of a fight and entertained incredibly. Yet they just kept booing him.
Yeah.
And do you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, Brian Barberina, right?
Yeah,
because he beat the hometown boy.
Matt Brown's a hometown boy, but what an incredible fight.
That was one of the best fights. Yeah, I told you it was one of my favorite fights of all time, actually. They just went toe to toe, and it was just an all-out war, and I loved it. I would, if I was in the arena, even if it's the hometown boy, I'm not booing that guy. What an effort!
No, absolutely
both guys put
not.
in a hell of an effort.
Absolutely not. And they did, and it was incredibly entertaining. And it's interesting because I wasn't able to watch all the fights live. I got home Saturday late afternoon, and I think it started after that fight. I got to see the rest of them, so I caught up on the other ones today.
Yeah.
And a little bit yesterday as well. And so when you told me today, we spoke earlier, you told me that's one of your top favorite fights. So I went right away I thought I got to catch up and see him. So I put that one on right away. And I'm watching first minute, 2 minutes, and I'm going 3 minutes. I go, what are they talking about?
Right.
Sure. And then it starts getting a little better, and then it starts getting hot. And by the end of the round, I go, okay, that was a good round. Started, they were missing each other a little bit in the bed. He did that like Mark Coleman, who was the Barberina's coach, saying, yeah, I did that too. Those stupid foot sweeps on you. Right. Exactly. And I go, okay, but that was pretty good sweep. So okay, at the end of the round, I go, okay, that was pretty good. But what's Darren talking about? That's not a fight. And then the second round got even quite a bit better. And then the third round, in the third round, I still didn't in my mind have a winner, a determined winner. Yeah. And I remember I looked down at the clock, 17 seconds, and Barberino started just pedal to the metal,
unleashing,
hurt Matt Brown. Yeah. And then I went, okay, he won that round, because to me it was 1-1 going into the third round. Yeah. And then it was so close, the third round up until the end.
Right at the end, yeah, he seemed to get it in the last few seconds, So, it just, it was a slow burn, slow boil, but it wasn't technically sound. Both these guys are very experienced veterans. Matt Brown's been in, many wars. He's 41 years old now. It wasn't incredibly technically sound. I've seen lots of better performances with guys where I'm like, wow, that guy is a solid, amazing fighter. But just the effort level that they put in, and they were hurt, and they just kept coming and coming. And giving it their all. And to me, that's the kinds of fights that I really, really respect and love. Go back to Forrest Griffin, Stephen Bonner, that really changed the trajectory of the sport. And that's really what people love. But it's just two guys and just going for it, not defense. It's just, I'm gonna hit you, you hit me, let's just go, right? And that was fun.
And it's funny you mentioned that, because I was thinking about that fight, but I thought, no, I'm not gonna. That was even sloppier. That was just like a good drunken brawl between those two.
True,
a little bit sloppier.
Sure, but it changed the whole trajectory of the sport. It really did.
It did, absolutely. That was a huge night.
And a lot of fights, when they go toe to toe like that, I harken back and I remember, that's what people love. And that's, where we want a lot of these guys to win, but we don't want them to be so cautious and not opening themselves up. We want them to just really go for it. Like a lot of us think we would, if we had the chance at a title. You're down 2 rounds, 3 rounds. Okay, if I'm gonna get knocked out, I might as well just swing and hopefully I connect. But we don't see a lot of guys do that, and so when they do, it's great.
I think I heard recently Emmanuel Stewart, the great boxing coach, said about Bernard Hopkins. He says, I don't think I ever saw Bernard Hopkins get rocked.
Wow.
Get really rocked. And
Unreal.
Bernard Hawkins was very, very technical
Yeah.
and very defensive.
Yeah.
But what's more fun to watch for us, especially for sort of the mainline crowd that may not really understand the technicalities. It's like a lot of people say to me sometimes, like, oh, it gets so boring when it goes to the ground. And that's, I prefer seeing them, punch each other and kick each other. Absolutely. But I still like the ground game. Some guys, people, I should say guys or girls, just absolutely hate it because they don't understand anything about it. Right. But no, yeah, you don't want to see, you do want to see two guys or two girls really hitting each other. That's fun and exciting.
Very exciting, and it got fight of the night. They both got $50K for their effort, and just love to see that. It really, to me, it was the best fight of the night, and I was really happy. And it would have been great for that hometown crowd to have the hometown guy get the victory. But like you say, being a judge, you and I have got certification as judges, and I do watch critically for a lot of these fights, but the fights like that, you're like, wow, like I'd hate to be a judge that night, because it was as close as you can come to a draw, really.
Yeah. And and sometimes judges miss things. Like if it wasn't for the last 10 seconds, like how would I have judged that? Because here's the thing too, like Barberino did probably connect to the head a little bit more, but what about those body kicks that Matt Brown was like, and how tough, how conditioned? Like both guys don't look like just rock hard. No. But those kicks were slamming into his ribs. Yeah. He's totally fine. It's amazing what kind of condition these guys are in. But yeah, it would have been amazingly difficult to have judged that fight and that round if it wasn't for Barberino's flurry at the end.
At the very end, you're right. Yeah.
And you always want to finish strong.
Yeah.
That's important in the judge's mind.
They were supposed to fight at an earlier date. I think Brown got COVID. One of the reasons why it canceled. I'm glad the UFC stuck to their guns and made them happen. Bam has the record for throwing the most significant strikes in a welterweight fight, 146. He came close again to breaking that record. And Matt Brown, like they call him the immortal because he's unable to die, he's unable to be killed, and a lot of people have tried and unsuccessfully. And he's been in amazing amount of battles. Those and some of the takedowns he had were pretty wild, and like I say, it wasn't technically sound, but really super fun fight. One of my top 10, I think.
And both those guys look like, you got to kill me to stop me. Guys, right? I can with Matt Brown, I can only think of him getting knocked out once. Donald Cerrone. Okay. Shin kick to the head. That's the only one I can remember. And takedowns were great, as mentioned. He didn't do a lot though of damage there. No. When he had him down, nor he had one submission attempt, but I actually thought he was going from a triangle from the top. They were saying he's going for an armbar, but he's too high. I thought he was going for a triangle from the top, but I couldn't see it on the other side. That would have been interesting. I can only actually remember that being pulled off by what's his name, got knocked out by Bisping, Luke
Rockhold.
He did that on the guy in a fight. I can't remember the other guy's name right now. Bald guy, kind of stocky fighter. But it'll come to me perhaps in a bit. Anyway, looks like those guys, you gotta kill them to stop them. Not technically. And Matt Brown thinks he can win the title That's what they said. I don't see it.
No, not
I
any.
think he can. I think he can simply, you know, win with some big guys still, or maybe close to top 10 in a war of attrition. You know.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I agree. Yeah. I think, at 41 years old, usually, the time has passed you by for a title shot. His record's 25-19 too, so they don't usually guys like that type of record, title shots at that advanced age. We saw it with Glover Teixeira, but he had been on a really amazing trajectory, winning, 7 or 8 out of 9 or something like that. So, I think we won't see him get a UFC belt around his waist, but he's given all his fans and us a ton of great moments, and he holds the record for the most finishes in the division with 14. Vicente Luque has 13.
Okay.
Matt Hughes has 11, and Thiago Alves has 9. So he holds the record there. And I saw some matchmaking possibilities today for Barberena, and someone said Nicholas Dalby or Matthew Semmelsberger were the two guys that immediately came to mind, who've both got wins and sort of match up well. So we'll see if we put that, they put that together. I can see Brown in a lot of exciting matchups, and numerous ones. So I can't wait.
And I think, I was gonna say, I think there's over the last couple of years, 2-3 years, a lot of guys have been cut from the UFC.
Yeah.
But Matt Brown doesn't have a great record, but he's been extremely entertaining.
Oh yeah.
And he can win. He can still win fights, and he can still win some big fights. So I think they're going to keep him around.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about the main event. We had a heavyweight battle between Curtis Blades and Chris Daukaus. Curtis Blades is still, to me, a real good title contender. He's always been an amazing wrestler, great at grappling. His ground game was phenomenal, but now he's really evolved to be a great striker, knockout artist. And this was a really big win from an up-and-comer in Daukaus, who had looked good in his few UFC appearances. And I was impressed with Blade's performance. He didn't attempt any takedowns in that first round, and I think everybody was quite shocked by that. Really good on him to surprise everybody and utilize the stand-up game. And then wham, a huge shot. It was over with some ground and pound, getting the victory. No attempts at all. I wonder if he's and I wouldn't think so versus Daukaus, a little shy about going down. I think he wants to show his striking game. Yeah.
And the reason why I say that is he's a bit shy about that now, because it didn't turn out that well the last time.
Yeah, Derek Lewis, really KO'd him, and that was a tough one, I'm sure.
Yeah, and maybe that he just wanted to improve his striking game.
Yeah.
So, but really impressive, and they both connected. Did you notice both Daukaus and Blades connected at the same time? But one guy's ears moved a little bit more than the other. Daukaus' ears went.
It was, but it was a devastating shot, and it was great to see 2 weeks in a row heavyweight battles. Tom Aspinall getting the big victory last week over Alexander Volkov. And the heavyweight picture is really starting to take great shape, and a lot of really, really top guys. Francis Ngannou just had knee surgery just over a week ago. He's on the shelf for 9 or 10 months. So Dana White said that if that is the timeline, they're going to have an interim belt. Yeah. So I think right away Blades is kind of in line with Cyril Gane for another shot at that. Gane is number 1 ranked still, and Blades is number 4 going into this weekend. I didn't see today if he moved up past anybody else, but we've got Cyril Gane at 1, Stipe Miocic at 2, Tai Tuivasa at 3, and then Blades at 4. Derek Lewis right behind him. Funny, but Derek Lewis did beat Curtis, and then we got Aspinall 6, Volkov 7, Rosenstrike, who Blades beat before this one, and Marcin Tybura round out the top 10. So the heavyweight division sometimes lacks a lot of depth that a lot of the other divisions have, but I'm impressed with quite a few of those guys in that top 10.
Yeah, definitely, particularly in the top 5. Then, in my opinion, drops off after that top 8 a little bit, and then the last 2 guys, as you said, I don't see them really moving up much from there. But there's some interesting guys. Yeah, definitely Cyril Gane with Curtis Blades. That could be that could be an interesting fight, and I think we're going to see Blades try to wrestle a little bit more in that fight if that happens. And then Aspinall, he's just a big surprise to me. That's all I can say. Moves really nicely, very quickly. And if you look at what he did to Volkanov, if I'm saying that right, Derek Lewis was losing, perhaps losing that fight versus him until he just connected with a big right hand in the 3rd round. It was over. But Aspinall, and you can't always compare it like that, but Aspinall was just completely dominated, and the whole fight until he stopped it in the 1st round.
No, it was a really impressive performance, and he moves really well for a heavyweight with power, and so look out.
Well, I don't know if you know, he was a smaller guy, a kid growing up, and so he learned to move.
He was bone rail thin. He was like really tall and thin. It was crazy to see the pictures of him as a kid. Yeah, very, very, very did not look like a heavyweight fighter at all. The other thing that happened while he was in the cage was Daniel Cormier seemed to egg on him when Stipe Miocic. And I know Cormier and Miocic haven't always seen eye to eye, got along very well. They've had their 3 battles in the cage. And he pointed out Stipe and said, "You got anything to say to him?" And Blades was very complimentary. He said, he's a legend, one of the greatest to lace them up. And, I'd love to fight him. And Stipe seemed not really interested. He kind of did a wave at the end, but he was like, this guy's not in my class. I want him, but that would be a hell of a battle too, though.
Yeah, it very well could be. Now that Blades' boxing and striking is much better, Stipe's wrestling is really solid as well. Doesn't have much of a ground. He's got ground and pound. Doesn't have submissions, but who knows? Who knows where Stipe's at now?
Yeah,
it's been well over a year now.
It's been a while,
close to 2.
And the other name that we should briefly mention is John Jones, and he keeps threatening to get in there, threatening to be in the mix, but still has not had an opponent. Still, it seems to be on the shelf, and we're all waiting to see the first heavyweight that he takes on. Yeah.
And this has been years, and his last few fights in light heavyweight, we didn't see the same John Jones. Was he fading, or was he just uninterested? I don't know.
Yeah. His last fight was against Dominic Reyes, February 8th, 2020. And so it's like over 2 years now. And I don't know. He's had so much controversy and so many things outside the cage. Maybe he's just decided to move on. He keeps threatening to, come back and fight at heavyweight, but I don't know why they can't put some together. He was the biggest fighter in the UFC and got the most pay-per-views, but it's weird that it's been so long since we've seen him.
Well, I think he wanted to fight for the title. He didn't want a
Anything else?
prelim warm up
No
fight.
tune-up fight. No.
No tune-up fight. Not, hey, let me show you what I can do at heavyweight. No, he just won Ngannou right away.
No.
And I think Dana White was saying no.
He kept saying
But
no.
yeah, but I think that would have been brought in a lot of pay-per-view. Why not?
Yeah, I think it would have been great. I mentioned John Jones and all the trouble he's had outside the cage. There have been quite a few problems with some of the top fighters in the world recently. Chris Weidman getting charged with attempted murder and many other charges. Chael Sonnen having 11 felony charges for assault. Jorge Masvidal getting charged with assault for beating up Colby Covington after their battle in the cage.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and it keeps when all these things keep
but
happening.
Wait, you said Chris Weidman or Cain Velasquez?
Oh, sorry. Cain Velasquez. Yeah, sorry, Chris. Holy cow! No, you're right. Yeah, Cain Velasquez,
Mr. Nice Guy. Okay, yes.
Yes.
Okay, yes. Okay.
So, when all these things keep happening outside in their personal lives and out in the streets, out front of bars, Vegas, different things like that, it comes to mind that do you think a lot of these guys are suffering from CTE and it's causing this kind of violent outbursts?
Well, possibly some of it, but I think by nature they were like that. Fighters are a little bit crazy, and even when I used to train down here at Lions MMA, which I was at for 5 years, I remember the coach talking about one of his fighters, and he said to me, he's a fighter. Fighters are fucking crazy. They are a little bit, so they have that by nature anyway. And a lot of them, the great thing about them having this outlet of MMA or boxing and Muay Thai and these sports is that they're not going out into the street and doing that. They're not going to bars usually and doing that. But now, they're getting perhaps they're getting. I mean, fighters have always had issues as well. Not all of them. There's some extremely calm ones, but could it be CT? Yeah, possibly. That's a possibility. There's quite a bit we still don't know. We don't even understand why some guys get it and most guys get it, and some guys just don't get it. They don't have it. It doesn't affect them. So yeah, it's definitely a possibility. With Cain Velasquez, I mean, he was trying to protect one of his family members.
Yeah.
But like everybody says, why don't you just go beat the shit out of him?
Just go punch him out. Yeah.
Cain Velasquez.
Not take a gun.
So is he losing it too?
Former heavyweight champion, and but he obviously had a mental break or something, and lost his mind. It's an unfortunate part about the US is most people are carrying guns, and we've all been extremely angry at points in our life, and if there's a gun there, would many of us picked it up at some point? I don't know, but it's kind of scary that they can at any moment get a little angry, road rage, whatever, and there's a gun, you pull the trigger, serious consequences could be life altering, and you hit somebody, you murder somebody, life could be over. Yeah,
and as Chris Rock, I don't know, bringing him up again, I don't know if you ever see his comedy, one of his comedy skits where he talks about like something like, bullets should be really expensive. Like you got to pay layaway on them. Like you go in there 1 week, you put a little bit of money in it. You're like, fuck, I'm gonna kill this guy. I'm gonna shoot this guy. By the time you finish paying for the bullets, like, calm down.
Calmer. No, yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm glad you brought up the point where a lot of fighters have this aggression, and it's nice when they go to a gym and they get their anger and aggression out on somebody that's just as good as them and, you know, skilled, they can get it out instead of out on the streets and at bars, in their family homes, that kind of thing. I was a huge proponent of making sure that MMA would be sanctioned, would get full sanctioning across North America, around the world, because you know, guys are going to fight. There's this inner anger, fury. It's just there. And if you don't have any outlet for it, you're going to look for the first place that you can get it. And that's outside a bar, or, you know, just places where these guys need to blow off their steam. And I needed it as a young man. I needed a place to, you know, just get that anger out. And one of the reasons why I'm a fan of heavy metal music is I would go to a heavy metal show and I'd mosh with everybody. And after the show, I felt like, oh, I don't need to beat up anybody for days, weeks on end. I feel calm now. And, you know, all these people are always protesting the, you know, metal shows and the violence from, you know, mixed martial arts and boxing and stuff. But I think it's a really good outlet for angry young men.
I absolutely agree, and sometimes you know, I'll have it on. There might be a UFC fight night, and I have it on, and my wife invites somebody over, and I watch it with the volume down, and then her friends are going, "Oh, this is disgusting," but they can't take their eyes off the screen. Right? You know? Right.
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
I've
faced the same thing over the years myself too. Yeah, everyone.
Yeah.
As soon as they see blood, they're like, "Oh, this is barbaric. Oh, I can't."
It is. Yeah.
But I can't stop watching this. You know?
I can't stop watching it. And, you know, people will always watch a fight. You know, the fight breaks out on the street during the tennis match. No one's going to keep watching the tennis match. You're going to turn and watch the fight, right? Yeah, exactly. So, but the thing is too, about what you said about they'll go into a gym against guys that are just as good as them. That's not the way it is in the beginning. It's a very humbling experience, you know, because even when I started jujitsu, and a lot of jujitsu has its mix, but you know, you get your big strong guys, but you get a lot of smaller guys. And you get a lot of guys that are a little bit nerdy because it's very, very methodical, and they love that. Plus, they don't want to. They want to be able to defend themselves and small guys. So you know what? When I started, I was like humbled big time. Yeah. You know, these little guys choking me out, and then I've had the same experience where young guys come into the gym and they're green, they're fresh, and they think they're tough, and they realize really quick, like, holy shit, I'm getting tuned here. Right. And it's nice when they come back, but a lot of those guys don't come back. Right. They just don't come back, unfortunately. Yeah. And now to go back to the brain damage you're talking about, the UFC in the old days didn't have those gloves. Those gloves are hard, and you can throw it almost as hard as you like. But in old UFC, they couldn't do that. But if you remember, former U.S. Senator John McCain said the word that you said right now. It's barbaric. Yeah. They should wear gloves. And the funny thing is, it was actually less barbaric because those gloves didn't allow you to hit somebody in the face as much. You had to be more cautious.
Yeah, break your hand really easily. Break your hand really easily, so you're not going to keep throwing a punch when your hand's broken over and over.
Right. Exactly. Right. It'd be interesting, but it was great for the UFC because all of a sudden these guys are punching the hell out of each other, and then the fanship just exploded after that. You're
right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, let's touch on another fight on the card. The co-main event had Joanne Wood against Alexa Grasso. Joanne decided to throw a spinning elbow, really made a big mistake there, got taken down, and a rear naked choke was put in very, very quickly, forced a tap. and it was the first submission of Alexa Grasso's career, but she sure
Wow.
looked good putting it in and sinking it in and making sure that Joanne was not going to get out of it.
Yeah, well, Alexa Grasso now purple belt in BJJ, and so getting to that the point where her skills are getting as a submission artist are getting sharper and sharper. So we'll probably start seeing more of those because she got in that. You could see it, and she got it in really quickly. Yeah. And that's the amazing thing about the fight game, and particularly MMA, is one mistake can it can end it. And a couple guys that we mentioned already today from the past, Luke Rockhold, and then also who you mistakenly accused of attempted murder tonight.
Yeah, damn. I gotta edit that out. Sorry, Chris.
But remember, he did it.
Well, that's pretty rough to have mistakenly put that. I don't know why Weidman came in instead of Velasquez.
Yeah, but giving your back up like that is always it's a big risk. And if you remember, Chris Weidman threw a sloppy spinning back kick.
Oh man!
And Rockhold got his back, and Rockhold's a mean submission artist. Yeah. And now that was over. He lost his title. So little mistakes like that. But then, and we can talk about that other fight too. A little earlier on, there was a successful spinning back fist.
Right. Yeah. That was.
So it's yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you can throw it, but there can be consequences either way. But obviously this one didn't work out for Calderwood or Joanne Wood now that she's married. I've always been a big fan of the Scottish fighters. I always really like hearing them talk. After in the cage, Paul Craig just can't get enough of his post-fight
triangles,
and the way he choked people. His submission game has become so elite and incredible. I have Scottish blood and heritage, so I guess maybe that's why. But I was hoping for JoJo, but no, not to be on this night.
Right, yeah, no, but the development of MMA throughout the world too is particularly south of the U.S. now. It's really exploding. Of course, in Brazil, MMA. You could say was one of the epicenters before, but now in a lot of Latin American countries, it's becoming. We're getting more and more fighters, which is great because we're getting more and more talent from all around the world. But Latin America is really actually, and Mexico as well, really expanding with their MMA fighters.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, they sure are.
Mm-hmm.
There was talk about Alexa Grasso possibly fighting Manon Fiorot from France. She was on the card earlier in the night. They will have the same amount of rest, and they seem to be on the same type of trajectory. So looks like maybe the UFC will be putting them together. And they look. I heard that Wood might be facing the winner between Miesha Tate and Lauren Murphy. And Miesha Tate, Miesha Tate's just fresh off the Big Brother show and trying to get back into a title kind of a race.
Oh, really? Okay. I didn't know that. I ever tell you I almost got onto Big Brother?
No, I didn't hear that. No.
You were Big Brother
in Canada or
no? So yes and no. So I was here doing a tour because I used to be a tour guide years ago, and so I was driving a minibus, 24 passenger bus to Victoria, doing a tour. And on the bus there, I was actually doing it in Spanish. And on the bus there, this is just when I came back from living a year in Mexico. And on the bus there was the host of Big Brothers Mexico.
Oh, no way.
And his wife said, get this guy on your show, get this guy on the show. And they go, yeah, you want to be on the show? And I just gotten back from Mexico and I wasn't ready to go back. And so I didn't do it. I actually regret it now. I didn't even really know what Big Brother was at the time.
Oh, crazy. Wow.
I mean, yeah, I know you love those shows. Your favorite, The Bachelor, I think.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah. That's top of my list every week. Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, you got me. You know me too well.
But yeah, I could have been in Big Brother Mexico. I probably should have gone for it. That would have been kind of cool.
Yeah, that would have been really cool. Yeah, I would have loved to see that. Even though I don't speak Spanish, I still would have loved to see it subtitled. see you negotiate your way through that. All right, why don't we touch a little bit on Kai Kara-France's big victory, split decision over Askar Askarov. I'm right now kind of to the point where I want to ban every Russian athlete from competing. So I don't want to talk much about any Russians, but let's talk about Kara-France and the big victory.
Darren, my daughter's screaming at me, and my wife is. Keep talking for a few minutes. I'm gonna run. I know she wants her.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good.
Keep running. Give me one second. But actually, can you hear me still?
I can. Yeah, for sure.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I hear you. I hear what you're saying. Okay, here I'm just gonna turn this on first. Sorry, he's still watching Netflix. Yeah. There you go. You got to go to bed anyway, Sue. Okay, so yeah, you're saying you getting to the point you want to ban every. Yeah, and there were quite a few Russians on this show.
Yeah, there have been a lot of Russians. There was a lot of Russians on the UK show last week and this week. Some of the European promotions have banned Russians from their cards. Obviously, soccer has banned Russia from competing for the World Cup, and most of the Russian athletes have just received a full-out ban. I just think that at this point, the way the Russian government has done what they're doing in Ukraine, I just don't want to have anything celebrated Russian-wise. Get out of Ukraine, and then we can get you back competing in the sport that you participate in.
Yeah, I could. I mean, the UFC has gone against the grain in a lot of ways, even during COVID. Every place was shut down, and yet they were having shows in the height of COVID in Texas, live shows. And now here's another thing, and I don't have much to say about that except it's probably a good idea just to let them sit on the bench for the time being.
But
we did see a great Russian fight, though.
Great to see Kai Kara-France get a big victory. I love a lot of the fighters that come out of that New Zealand kickboxing academy there, and this was a heck of a fight. I love his nickname, Don't Blink, because most of those fights you can't blink. There's so much action. This was his 29th birthday, and he celebrated with a big win.
Yeah, 29th. Wow, he looks like he's 16. But and the funny, he doesn't look like a tough fighter. He doesn't have that look, but he surprises you. And I think he had a first tough round. The first round was quite tough, but he weathered the storm there, and then just he definitely wanted to just fight in the middle and just throw it down in the middle. And his opponent there, I don't think wanted any of that. So,
Neil Magny fought in this welterweight fight early on in the main card. He got a decision victory. He tied George St. Pierre with 19 wins. He passed George St. Pierre with fight time in the UFC welterweight division. George St. Pierre and Neil Magny, I don't really think that we should be seeing Neil Magny against the great George St. Pierre in the record books, but he did.
He did, but you know, I like Neil. But he didn't fight. He's never fought the same caliber.
No.
That I mean, GSP held the title twice, and then moved up to middleweight and won the title convincingly.
Yeah.
There, all with his, and we talked about his stomach colitis, his stomach issues.
Yeah.
He could have been even better. But Neil Magny, you know, tough guy that hangs in there. And again, he's another guy that you got to be prepared to fight the whole fight with him. He's hard to kill, and he'll just keep coming at you.
Very well.
What was the Cuban guy that found that he had a super brawl years ago that he was just getting beat up by, what's his name? A really stocky, I think, a Cuban guy.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
But you got to be ready to fight a full fight. Now that fight, I don't know, that was a split decision on Saturday night.
Yeah.
And could have gone either way. I think he maybe just pulled it out in the end.
Yeah.
And but yeah, definitely not. You can't really. It's great he's stuck around as an old veteran. You can't really compare him to GSP, because GSP, you know, had won his division twice, and defended it many times and fought the top guys. But he's a good guy. He's a good guy to have around, but unfortunately, he's a bit more of a gatekeeper.
Yeah.
You know.
True. He called out Khamzat Chimaev. Careful what you wish.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't. I was surprised by that call out. I don't think kind of they're in the same type of stratosphere either. I don't see the UFC wanting that fight to come together.
Yeah, and I think Neil doesn't need someone that explosive that comes all at what Neil needs guys that are a bit more slow burn like he is, and it just wears them down. Yeah. But I don't see that being a great fight for him. Again, if he could maybe last the first round and a half, then, but will he? Probably not.
Yeah. More likely, I heard two other names, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson or Sean Brady. So we'll see if they.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll see if they put those together. Seems more realistic.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, those could be decent fights. Those could be interesting fights.
Yeah. Did you see how many fights were canceled off this card?
Yeah, I saw there was at least 3, weren't there?
There was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There was 5 actually altogether. 5. Yeah, it was
okay.
Pretty crazy. The one fight that I really wanted to see, and I hope this happens very soon, was Jan Blachowicz against Alexander Rakic. And when that fight fell off, it really hurt me and devastated this card. I think that it would have been awesome to see those guys bang it out. Yeah,
for sure. And I saw that one was canceled. I just didn't hear why it got canceled.
No, I don't think they've released any reason.
Okay.
Also, Ilir Latifi and Alexei Oleinik. Latifi got some stomach bug, not COVID, but he was really.
Didn't Latifi just fight?
Wasn't able to. I don't think he's fought super recently, but he he wasn't able to be there. The karate hottie Michelle Watterson was supposed to fight Amanda Hebas. That fight fell off. Nate Landwehr against David Onama. Tucker Lutz against Choi Sung Woo. And it was just kind of a cursed card with all these fights falling off, but it still actually turned out to be fairly fun. Lots of action on the card, and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, it turned out to be a pretty good card in the end. And with all these canceled fights, I mean, it's the fight sport, it's a contact sport. A lot of injuries occur, and also we still have COVID around, so Guys are training really hard. It's actually how I got COVID a couple months ago. I was just training really hard, wore myself down, and rolled with a bunch of guys who everybody, and I think I told you, everybody seemed to be asymptomatic, and nobody got it after I did. So you know, these doctors saying you can't get it from someone that's asymptomatic. Well, then where'd I get it from? But yeah, that's still around. And also, I wonder how Matt Brown, he had his fight got with Bam Bam got postponed because he did get COVID in December. So I wonder how that affected? I wonder if he wants a rematch.
I'm sure it must have. Yeah. Did you have any long-term health effects?
No. No. I mean, I decided to get myself fully vaxxed, and no, it was. I would say for the first week or so, I wasn't quite the same. But after that, my strength started to come back just fine.
Yeah, it's really funny. It just seems to affect lots of people different. I know people that are still feeling effects months later. And then some, you know, just they go down for 3-4 days and then they're back to normal. And you know, luckily you got a mild case, or you know, you're a healthy guy and we're able to fight it off. But I would think that it would have definitely affected his training. And then, you know, who knows, you know, with his cardio, he looked like he was gassed at a lot of points in that fight, but 41 years old as well. And, you know, in quite the battle. So who knows, really?
But yeah, it'd be interesting. It may affect. I do know a couple people that decided not to get themselves vaccinated. That January, it seemed like a lot of us were getting hit so hard in January, and they got hit, and they decided not to and get themselves vaccinated, and by their own mentioning, they said they feel very lucky to be here because they said they thought they were goners.
Wow.
Both of them said they said they, and actually we work with, you might know one, we work with one of them, and I got him on to work with me on this production, but yeah, so yeah.
The other 50K that was handed out for the fight bonus was to Chris Gutierrez. He had a big spinning back fist knockout of Dana Batjarel from Mongolia. Batjarel is a fighter that I just love watching. I never thought that somebody from Mongolia would be able to come in and look so scary and so technically sound, but he got caught by El Guapo and dropped, and it was an impressive knockout.
It was, and that's where you know, and now it's starting to get showing a little bit of signs of fatigue. I don't know if he had a jet lag or but he, for not a big guy, not a big heavy weight class, he started to show fatigue, and he started to slow down, and his hands were down, and he didn't react to when he spun. When once a fighter throws spinning technique, you have a little bit more time to react. He had no reaction. He took it straight on the chin, straight on the jaw. And as we learned in the courses that we've taken, when the head is swung like that kind of closed circuits the brain. And he was looking great prior, but everybody's got a Achilles tendon. That's he got caught hard there.
Sure did. Unreal. And Gutierrez talked a lot about his camp, Factory X, a lot of great fighters coming out of there. Said he's trying to be a better human, really wants to put a lot of emphasis on just doing better with his job. That was the 9th spinning back fist KO in UFC history, and it'll be on his highlight reel tape for years and years and years. And I think it'll get him an opportunity. That was his 7th win in a row. Well, he's 6-0-1 actually in his last 7. So
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think that was yeah, something that's going to move him up. He was an underdog going into this one, and proved look out for some of those fists, because yeah, one really really impressive knockout. Like you say, there was no reaction. It was just wow, it was done. It was,
And you know what? It was very fast though.
yeah.
There wasn't a lot of setup there. He
No.
just he timed it very well.
Yeah. Do you want to mention any of the other fights? I know you say you saw Matthias Nicolau beat David Dvorak in a decision. I mentioned Furio beating Jennifer Maya. Sedonia and Sosa also went to decision. You want to mention any of the other fights on the card?
The other one I saw was just by the Mark Dykaises.
Oh yeah,
if I'm saying that right. Yeah, just a solid wrestling game. You know, not the most. You're not going to bring a ton of butts in the seat to watch that sort of stuff, but a really good display of wrestling.
Yeah.
Let me see what else. Oh well, I don't know if you want to talk about this. The 2 Russians.
No, we're not talking about them.
Yeah, we're not talking about that because I good because I don't even know if that happened. I know nothing about that.
Good.
Yeah. So I think that was it. Yeah. I think that we covered it pretty well there.
Yeah. We've got a 1-week break, and then we've got UFC 273, 2 title fights coming on this card. Fingers crossed, nothing happens, no COVID, no injuries, nothing, no weight cut problems. But Alexander Volkanovski faces the Korean Zombie. Volkanovski has been pretty unbeatable for a while. I think Korean Zombie's in way over his head. To me, the Zombie is a guy that doesn't have a lot of amazing defense, but we talked about Matt Brown being immortal, and you have to do a lot to kill the guy. Korean Zombie's been like that. He has a puncher's chance, I guess, but I think this is a one-sided affair.
I think the only one thing is I don't see Volkanovski having a ton of one punch knockout power, but I think you're right. I'm scared for the Korean Zombie. I mean, he's got that nickname because he doesn't have defense and he just keeps coming. But I see this not going very long. I see maybe getting ground and pounded and it ending. I think he gets dropped and then Volkanovski just jumps on him. I'm surprised this is even going. I'm surprised because I don't see the Korean Zombie there.
Yeah,
at that elite level.
I'm pretty sure it was Max Holloway that was supposed to have this spot, and then injury. So
that makes more sense. Yeah, that makes more sense.
Place, but I'm really looking forward to the rematch between Aljamain Sterling and Peter Yan. Peter Yan was beating Aljo in their first fight, and
I think so.
He threw an illegal knee that Sterling wasn't able to recover from. Quite a bit of controversy there, but I think Yan is the better fighter from what I've seen so far. But do you think Aljo was able to get into the gym, see what he did wrong in those early part of that first fight, and change the dynamic and get a victory just on merit instead of getting a disqualification win?
Yeah, that's absolutely a possibility. I too thought Yan was winning that fight, and he clearly looked like he was on his road to victory that fight. But Sterling's now had a chance to improve, study Yan. He fought him a little bit more, so it could be a more even fight now, and maybe Sterling can actually, on his own laurels, win this fight. Yeah, that's a possibility. I think
it'll be way closer, and I think it'll be fight of the night. I believe I'm
looking forward to that one.
I think we're looking at something great. I have
Hmm.
Khamzat Chimaev. I mentioned him a little earlier. He's on the
Yeah,
card fighting Gilbert Burns. This is the biggest
yeah,
step up in competition that Khamzat's ever faced. He
yeah.
has come in. He has come into the UFC, and it's one of those guys. Don't look away. He'll knock you out quick. Do
Yeah,
you think he can still do the same things that we've seen him doing, but to Gilbert Burns?
that's going to be really interesting because this is Gilbert Burns is way higher caliber than any of the guys that he's fought previously.
Oh, yeah.
But he's just so explosive and just gets on guys and gets them in nasty positions and just ground and pounds them. But then again, Gilbert Burns is a world champion jiu-jitsu guy, so that'll be interesting how it's going to fight. I'm actually really excited about that fight. I think it's a really interesting. The styles are definitely different, but I don't know who I pick in this fight. I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard to know. Most of Khamzat's fights have been over so quick, and he's overwhelmed the guys undefeated.
Yeah.
Been able to come in and get a bunch of really quick victories, but the competition level wasn't there. And now we're finally seeing, him go against the guy that's got a ton of experience and well-rounded fighter. And yeah, I'm not sure who to pick, but we'll see if Khamzat's the real deal. If he can beat Burns and he can beat the next couple competitors up there, I'll start giving him more props than I am currently.
Yeah, I mean, if he beats Burns, I mean, who does he have above Burns? Maybe just a title shot. It'd be pretty quick, but
yeah, he might. Yeah, I think they're fast tracking him for it, but we'll see. We'll see how they put it together. On the prelims, I'm really excited. I'm really looking forward to Jairzinho Rozenstruik and Marcin Tybura. I mentioned them earlier.
Oh yeah.
That's number 8 and number 10 in the heavyweight division. I think we're going to see a definite knockout. That'll kick off the prelim card. Yeah,
I think and Rozenstruik's got it. He's got to do something. I actually think both of them have to win. This is a very important fight for both of them because I think they if they have a poor performance, I don't know if they're going to be kept around. And they do have a lot of potential though. Now Rozenstruik hasn't shown as promise as they thought. He thought he was very promising, but hasn't shown that yet. And Tybura, well, I mean, it's a big guy too, got knockout power as well. So that could be a fun fight. And I think they both got to fight. They got to be desperate. I think this is it for them.
A lot of people don't watch the early prelims. They wait till the prelims and the main card. It is harder to find them, but Ilir Latifi and Alexei Oleinik was canceled off last week's card.
Okay.
They've put it on this
one. There
we
go.
And then we've also got Vince Pichel against Mark Madsen, which I really like. And Mickey Gall fights Mike Malott. Joe Arce's on there. There's quite a few fights. There have been two fights canceled off that early prelims, but I think there's still a heck of a lot.
This is gonna be a fun card.
Yeah, this is a really elite card. 273. And it's the day after they have no more vaccine passport here in BC. So we're gonna see all the Teamsters. We're gonna see all the unvaccinated people that have been fighting and not wanting to do it. They're gonna be out in full force, and I'm looking forward to a full bar that night to watch UFC 273.
Yeah, and it looks like I'm just looking here at the fight card, and I think there's another guy I want to see fight. It can be quite exciting in middleweight, and that's I'm gonna have trouble saying his name, but Duplessis.
Oh yeah, Duplessis.
Duplessis. I think he's and the guy that got Rodolfo Vieira, and with the submission, a jiu-jitsu world champ, but he rocked him. And that fight, Anthony Hernandez, that one, I think that's going to be, I'm looking forward to that one as well.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
both those guys can bang.
As I said, we've got a week off, rare Saturday night. There'll be no UFC, but I'll be really excited to get together and watch that. Hopefully you can come out. I enjoyed.
Yeah, maybe that's what I'll have to do.
Yeah. It's
What's the date on that? Is that the 8th?
The 9th. The 8th is the Friday where they're stopping the passport, and it'll be April 9th.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Well, I'll have to get permission. I mean, set a date for that.
Yeah. One last note I wanted to mention, Dana White has been in the news quite a bit recently. One of the things was Robbie Fox of Barstool Sports had a really good interview with him and asked him if he's deciding if he wants to move on from his position. And he said,
yeah,
he's starting to consider it. And he said, who would replace you? And he said, there's only one guy in the world, I think, that could replace me, but nobody knows his name. I'm not telling you guys who it is, but he said that's something that he's really considering, which is quite surprising to hear, because it seems like, this is something that he wants to do, until the day he dies.
Yeah.
But, there was rumors that Daniel Cormier was going to be the guy that would do that, and he said, no, Daniel could not do this job. I don't think Daniel Cormier is the guy, but I know a guy, and he's probably going to replace me at some point soon. Okay,
I have no idea who that is, and I have no idea. Yeah. Okay. I have no idea. And Daniel, has Daniel Cormier, has DC officially hung up the club?
Yes, he has. Yes, he's done. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's okay. Okay.
Officially done.
Okay.
So, yeah. So.
Okay.
We'll see. We'll see if that's the case. But man, this was fun. I'm glad we could do this. Thanks so much for breaking down this card. It had been way too long since we had, and
for sure. Great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks for making an appearance. Nice to see you. Have a good sleep.
Bye.
Thanks for sharing your dad.
Betty, bye, huh?
For sharing your dad with us.
Yeah. Oh, mommy just got home too, and now give me a dirty look. Yeah.
Okay, Stephane.
All
the best.
Okay.
Have a great night. We will talk soon. Take care of yourself.
All right. Good night, Darren. Okay.
Okay. Great episode. Great to have Stephane Cappellini join us and break down great card and preview UFC 273 coming up in a couple of weeks. That was a lot of fun, and it was pretty wild how the Will Smith slapping of Chris Rock started off our podcast, because everybody was talking about it today. Everywhere I went, everybody had some takes on it. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Want to thank our partners and sponsors as always. Anchor FM, the easiest place to make a podcast. Just go to anchor.fm and they will help you create a podcast. And it's a fantastic, fun thing to do, like we had tonight. I want to mention Verbero, the hockey equipment and apparel company, industry leader in technology, performance, and value. And the V350 stick is a must-have for any hockey player in the family or your friends. Pampas and Possibilities, designers of West Coast pretty things that they put in your home. Reach out to our website and get them to help gussy up your home, make it a lot more livable. And speaking of living, Forever Living, products for health and beauty made out of aloe vera. Highly recommend many of the products, phenomenal things. Just go to our website, completesportsmedia.com, and there are coupons that you can get some of the products at discounted rates. So thanks again always to our partners and sponsors. Want to sign off to say, Jason, you were missed today and this evening. I hope you're on the road to recovery real quick, because we want to have your takes as always on the world of sports that you follow. And good luck, buddy. We will have you in our thoughts a lot. And thank you so much, Stephane, for stepping in and doing a great job as always. So take care of yourself, everybody. Love you lots. Bye for now. Have a very good week ahead.